Hey there, 30 here, and today I've decided to create this video and wanted to share it with you. Hopefully this adds value to your life. So, good morning po sa ating lahat, and I hope that you guys are doing really well today. And maraming salamat po sa panonood ng last video ko. I hope we all got inspired, and sana makita mo na yung true love mo. Ay, hindi pala makita. Yung true love yung makakita sa'yo. Well, I'm pretty excited today because this topic is, I would probably say, controversial. Hindi ko alam kung ano magiging reaction nyo, but I do hope that we can learn something from this topic. So, by the way, this is part 8. Let's go! Well, I'm pretty excited and I can't wait to share it with you. So, let's get started. Question for today. Have you ever wondered bakit laging nalilate yung mga Pinoy? And what the heck is Filipino time? That's what we're gonna talk about today. So, for context, Filipino time is a cultural tendency of Filipinos to be late for appointments, for gatherings and events, and this is a well-known phenomenon in the Philippines. Iba-iba yung mga opinion ng mga tao dito at saka mga banyaga. And I think for the most part, this is seen as a toxic trait ng mga Pinoy, and this is something that we should change right away. Now, before we even talk about the reasons bakit laging nalilate yung mga Pinoy, let's try to answer this question first. Paano nga ba nagsimula yung Filipino time? Apparently, the phrase Filipino time was coined by the Americans in 1900s, and this was because they were so irritated by the lack of punctuality of Filipinos. And it's quite funny because we were a colony of the US, but because we were a huge burden to them, we kind of colonized them back by living rent-free in their heads kasi sobra talaga silang na-stress sa atin. But even though they were the ones who coined the term, this tradition is dated back to the Spanish colonial period, and this was when high-ranking Spanish officials took pride in being late. Kasi sa tingin nila, pag na-late sila, it kind of validates their worth, and it's a measure that made the latecomer the center of attraction and attention. Ang tawag nila dito sa English, fashionably late. Pinaganda lang yun. And this is a symbol of status. Sabi ni Kuya Kim, namana daw natin yung pagiging late sa mga Kastila. Kasi yung mga ancient Spaniards ng mga unang panahon, ang paniniwala nila kapag royalty ka, dapat hindi ka agad pumapasok or hindi ka agad uma-attend sa mga gatherings. Dapat yung mga nauuna, yung mga common na tao or mga Indio, and yung mga papasok ng late ay yung mga mas importanteng tao para daw makita ng mga common na tao yung kanilang mga magaganda at magagarbong suutan pagdating nila. Ganun daw pala yun. Now, this trait was actually passed down through generations to generations, and here we are. Now, here are some of the reasons why laging nalilate ang mga Pinoy. Now, these are just a few reasons. Kung meron akong hindi mababanggit dito, you can comment down below ano pa yung mga reasons bakit late yung mga Pinoy. But number 1 is social harmony. Filipinos often prioritize social interactions and relationships over punctuality. Being late might be seen as a way to maintain harmony and avoid rushing, but this can be seen as rude sa ibang tao. Number 2, traffic and infrastructure. The heavy traffic and unreliable public transportation in many parts of the Philippines can make it difficult to be punctual. I live in Pampanga, no? Hindi naman ganun kagrabe yung traffic, pero may mga talaga areas na talagang nakakainis kasi sobrang tagal mong maghihintay kasi sobrang haba ng traffic. I can't imagine life in Manila. Maybe it's much worse, and I don't know, maybe yung mga tao talagang binabakan nila talaga yon araw-araw. So, sobrang nakakainis. And it's a legitimate reason kung bakit malilate yung isang Pinoy. And number 3, event flexibility. Filipino events often starts later than scheduled. Ang tendency dito, it reinforces the idea that it's actually acceptable to be late. Hindi naman agad mag-start yan, so okay lang naman na hindi agad pumunta doon. And this becomes a cycle where everyone expects delay. Ang problema, it leads to a habitual lateness. And marami pa to, no? The reasons behind Filipino time are really complicated. But I think at the end of the day, it's just an accepted fact of life that timeliness, it's not a Pinoy strength. Now, what can we possibly learn from this? Number one, respect for time. Understanding that being on time shows respect for others and commitments can foster mutual respect and efficiency. Siyempre, you have to realize that time is a valuable resource sa lahat ng tao. And when you are not late and you're on time, you are expecting and valuing their time. And whether it's a professional meeting or just a personal meeting, dapat lagi kang on time so that you can actually show respect and value to their time. Number two, better planning. Recognizing the impact of traffic and infrastructure on punctuality can encourage better planning and time management. Syempre, if you're that kind of person who always experience traffic or sa tingin mo may mga bagay na magpapatagal talaga sa'yo pa at malilate ka, i-anticipate mo na yung mga delays para makapag-allot ka ng sufficient travel time so you're on time and hindi ka late doon sa pupuntahan mo. Now, if in case merong emergency or something just came up, try to communicate it with the person you're about to meet up and set proper expectation dun sa kamit mo para aware siya. Halimbawa, hindi ka makakapunta, uy, pasensya ka na. I know that we're supposed to meet at this particular time pero baka malate ako kasi merong nangyari and I'm so sorry. I'm gonna do my best to be there on time. Para mas maintindihan ko ng ka-meet up mo bakit ka na late at hindi siya maging aburido at galit na galit sa'yo pagdating mo. And number three, cultural sensitivity. While punctuality is important, understanding the cultural reasons behind Filipino time can promote patience and empathy in multicultural interactions. Remember, what you understand, you definitely value. At para naman sa mga naghihintay on the other hand, this is definitely a test of patience sa inyong lahat. Kaya magbaon kayo ng sobrang daming pasensya at understanding kasi kung hindi, naku, talagang magiging bad mood yung araw mo. Now, one thing's for sure though, it's never too late to not be late. So, meron pang oras kapatid. Now, having said all of this, a lot of people, and I think majority of the Filipino people think that Filipino time is a toxic trait and it needs to stop right away. Punta ka ng YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, or Google para parehas ang sinasabi ng mga Pinoy and even mga banyaga na this is really something that we should change right away. But what if I told you that there are some people who actually think otherwise? What if I told you that being late isn't really bad after all? Well, that's probably crazy. Pero there's a book by Jenny Odell called Saving Time. And basically what she tells us is she's giving us a different perspective of how we should view this tradition. That while it is a problem for many, it can be perfectly fine and acceptable to others. And this perspective encourages understanding and respect for cultural diversity and preferences in time management. Tapos meron line doon that I find really, really interesting. Sabi niya, if just for a moment we leave behind historically and culturally specific notions of clock-based punctuality and time as money, then Filipino time actually doesn't appear to be a problem at all. If you and everyone you know are on it, it's just merely numbers or time. And sa ibang mga kultura, I think punctuality is strictly adhered to, especially kung pupunta ka ng Japan or Korea. Naku, very particular talaga sila sa mga ganyan. Pero sa ating kasi mga Pinoy, in Filipino culture, the focus is more on the quality of interaction as opposed to strict adherence to a clock. And if we're gonna set aside yung history behind dito, mas magiging simple at mas magiging masaya yung buhay actually. And sometimes being late is okay. I'm gonna tell you why. Being late is okay because it allows you to live naturally and flexibly, engaging more deeply in conversations. Kasi ano ba naman yung ilang minuto kang late kasi napahaba yung usapan nyo kasi sobrang sarap nung kwentuhan nyo with friends or loved ones. Are you actually gonna cut them off mid-conversation at sabihin mo, ay, pasensya ka na, malilito ko ba, have to go, bye? Magmukha kang weird nun. Instead, what you do is you try to enjoy the conversation. Number two, accepting delays like traffic without stress. Kasi sa totoo lang, wala ka naman kasi magagawa. Maghihintay at maghihintay ka rin. Unless meron kang superpowers to teleport or maybe lift the jeepney or the bus tapos dun kayo sa himpapawid umalarga. Siguradong hindi ka malilate doon. But that will be crazy. So instead of stressing yourself over it, just try to enjoy. Maybe you can read books while in commute, or maybe if you're a student, you can take the opportunity to review your notes. Or maybe you can try to listen to music tapos tumingin ka lang sa labas ng bintana na para bang kunwari ikaw yung bida sa movie or ikaw yung main singer dun sa music video. Or moving at a relaxed pace, because it's okay to be present at the moment. I-enjoy mo and i-savor mo yung moment na yun, because life is short. Don't make it shorter. So, it's about enjoying the journey rather than just focusing on the destination. And finally, enjoying the freedom to arrive whenever you want. Sa pinakasimpleng dahilan na yun lang yung oras talaga ng trip mo na dumating, ano ba naman magagawa nila? I think you can decide when to arrive based on your own needs and circumstances rather than just being bound by external expectations. And what this does is it reduces stress and improve your well-being. Number 2, it enhances your patience and understanding. And most importantly, it enhances your overall quality of social interactions. So the next time you check your watch and then you go, "Hi, late na naman ako." Well, always remember that you're not just late, you're fashionably late and you're culturally enriched. At the end of the day, iba-iba naman tayo ng mga priorities and preferences and choices sa buhay. Whether you see this trait as a challenge or as a problem or an opportunity, that's really up to you, kapatid. Anyway, I hope you've learned something today, and I hope you like this video. And if you do, please consider to subscribe so you get updated with the upcoming videos. Thank you and have a good one. Bye!